yeah, the background's not working, but you know what? I'm doing the review anyway. Because I'm a peacock, and you gotta let me fly on this one!
You know what, Terry? Let's just settle this. Peacocks don't fly.
They fly a little. They get a real running
About
start.
as much as a penguin.
Welcome back to another episode of Why Don't You Love? Today we're talking about one of the most underappreciated comedies of the past decade. Talking about The Other Guys. This is one of those weird situations where the movie came out and usually there's at least one YouTube reviewer, figurehead, personality type person who agrees with me on it.
So, objectively, I have no idea why movies like The Other Guys even still exist.
The Other Guys is an incredibly stupid movie. And not the good kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Dinner for Schmucks had its problems, but Dinner for Schmucks was funnier than The Other Guys. I'll say that.
It seemed like everyone hated this movie, and I don't get why. It's since developed a cult following, and I think it deserves it because this might be one of the greatest comedies to come out of the past decade. I don't think I've ever seen a comedy that had performances this great. It's nuts. And it's kind of hard to describe the humor with this movie because on one hand, it's a masterclass in absurd, out there, really weird comedy, but at the same time, it's really smart and the characters are really well put together. Seriously, looking back at it the other day, these characters are actually really deep. Specifically our two main characters, Terry and Alan. Terry is the typical loud, angry cop, but as you see throughout the movie, he's loud and angry because he's got a chip on his shoulder, because he wants to mask insecurity and to really assert himself. And you oppose that with Alan, who is kind of quiet and reserved because he was out there and aggressive and now he wants to pull back. And their backstories are just hilarious. I'm not going to spoil them here. And what this movie does best is that it takes all of the typical buddy cop comedy stuff and just flips it around. Instead of the angry police commissioner, you've got Michael Keaton playing the police chief, and he accidentally quotes TLC. Really, I could just go on and on about all the characters you got in this movie. You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Samuel L. Jackson in the beginning as the superstar stud cops. Even the director himself pops up in the movie as a homeless person later in the film. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's one of the funnier gags in the movie, even though you don't really know that's the director. I had to find out about that later, but it's hilarious. There's so many great scenes in this movie. It's ridiculous. Every scene with Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock is hilarious. The fist fight in the library, that initial kidnapping of Ershaw, meeting Christina.
You probably think because of the beard that I'm really hairy. But, I'm not. Shaved.
Alan!
Meeting Alan's wife. There's too many great scenes to talk about in this without spoiling, and I don't want to spoil it because you would need to see this movie if you haven't already. And the director, Adam McKay, has now made 2 movies that are comedies that attack Wall Street and big business people and all that, and I haven't seen The Big Short, but I've got a feeling this is the better of the 2. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is a little edgy at points in terms of the humor, but it never really quite crosses over into the point where you're like, no, that's way too offensive, I'm not dealing with that. But it does kind of right on the border of, personally, I can only speak for myself, for the comfort zone in terms of comedy. It gets right up on the border, and you're like, oh, it's not super edgy, but it's getting close. It's so ridiculously quotable, too. As you probably saw if you watched my, Star Wars edits video, there's so many Other Guys jokes in there.
Feel that, Alan? Huh? That tingling in your balls, big metal butterflies fluttering around your stomach?
Are you sure you don't have testicular cancer? You don't think I'm a real cop, do you?
No, I don't. I've said that directly to your face numerous times. I was really honest about that.
Because this movie is so quotable. There's just so many things, that little genius lines and bits and moments that get stuck in your head. And I know comedy is subjective, and I know that someone watching this probably hates this movie or will see this movie and might not like it, but in terms of the writing and in terms of what it does to the genre of buddy cop comedies, you have to appreciate just the clever writing and what gets put into there, and the pure improv skills of Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. By the way, this is the first movie that I saw Mark Wahlberg and immediately thought, wow, this guy's awesome. Because until this point, I only knew him as, the guy from The Happening.
Hello? My name is Elliot Moore.
I'm just going to talk in a very positive manner, giving off good vibes. We're just here to use the bathroom. And then we're just gonna leave. I hope that's okay.
Ends from that weird Planet of the Apes reboot. I hadn't seen him in a truly great role, and of course The Other Guys is the first one that I see him in, and then from that point on I'm like, oh, he's a legit actor, because I never saw Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, so I don't know what these people are talking about. It's weird, it's weird how that happens. Like, Channing Tatum was a laughingstock before he was genuinely funny in 21 Jump Street. Basically, if you're down in your acting career, go do a buddy cop comedy, but go do a good one. Don't do, like, all these other ones. But anyway, I'm gonna keep repeating myself over and over again if I make this video any longer, but this is just such a funny movie, such a great comedy. It's so clever. Everyone brings their A game. It's just awesome. You need to see it. If you have seen it, what is your favorite moment? Comment below your favorite line, your favorite scene, your favorite character. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, then come back and talk about it, because I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on this movie. Do you love it as much as I do? But that's it for this time. Until next time, God bless. Stay saucy.